With the armistice, the war in Europe was over, but at home there was still no peace. In the winter of 1919, unemployment and a cut in wages caused the Seattle shipyard workers to strike. They called on all workers to do the same, to create a general strike, a massive stop-work movement that would shut the city down. It was an unprecedented move, forbidden by every union charter and condemned by the American Federation of Labor. As the deadline for the strike drew near, panic sent people into the stores to hoard food and supplies. The fear that Seattle would erupt with riots induced some citizens to be deputized. The National Guard was mobilized, ready to quell the impending revolution. And across the country, editorials warned, "The Bolshevik beast has come out into the open, and it is only a step from Seattle to Petrograd." From her office in the Seattle Union Record, the city's only labor-owned paper, Anna Louise Strong issued her own call to arms.
We are undertaking the most tremendous move ever made by labor in this country, a move that will lead no one knows where. We do not need hysteria. We do not need fear. We need the iron march of labor, for labor will feed the people, care for the babies and the sick, and preserve order. Not the withdrawal of labor power, but the power of the workers to manage will win this strike.
Her editorial, it seems to me, sums up the spirit of that strike. They didn't know what they were doing, is the way I would interpret this, or where they were going. But it sounds ominous. It's got a kind of romantic touch to it, and it captivates people even now. And their eyes get big when they think about that editorial.
It was the first general strike in U.S. history. The wealthy, fearing revolution, fled to hotels in Portland. The middle class, fearing violence, stayed locked in their homes. Seattle functioned as a worker-run city, inspiring Strong to write,
"If by revolution is meant violent, forcible taking of property, killing of men, surely none of our workers dreamed of such action. But if you mean that a great change is coming over the face of the earth which will transform our methods of carrying out industry, then we do believe in such a great change, and our general strike was one step towards it."
After only 3 days, the strike collapsed. But for Anna Louise Strong, it was not the end, but the beginning.
Anna Louise Strong, by this editorial no one knows where, and the subsequent Seattle General Strike, made a name for herself as a radical calling for revolution. It struck fear in the hearts of a number of people, but it also aroused a great deal of hope among radical groups, both in this country and around the world. She therefore never lost this one incident from her own background, and she was proud of it. She would always say to herself in coming years, if she was ever tired or felt she was losing her drive, to be back to the Seattle General Strike days when that was really the most important thing that was going on in the world.
The first act, in many ways the strangest and most terrifying of the entire decade, began in the spring of 1919, before the troops had even finished coming home. On the evening of May 1st, a night clerk at the main branch of the U.S. Post Office on 33rd Street and 8th Avenue happened to notice 16 slender, identically wrapped packages, each addressed to a prominent politician or businessman, and each containing enough nitroglycerin to blow a man's head off. Confirming deeply rooted American fears that sinister foreign elements were at work in the land, revelation helped set in motion the Red Scare, a wave of political reaction and xenophobia unlike anything seen in the country before or since, directed at cities with large populations of immigrants, and especially New York. Within months, groups that had enjoyed triumphant success only a few years before, immigrant workers, progressive reformers, and union organizers, found themselves on the run.
And there are mass roundups people are taken out, put on Ellis Island, and if they're aliens, they are slated for deportation. And, of course, the most famous deportee who was sent off in this period is Emma Goldman. And it's like a fever that grips people. There's another wave in early 1920, and then it breaks. It was like the fever had broken. And it's, I think, then that we really move into the 20s, and we moved into a new climate. The communists are going to be driven underground. The labor movement is still there, but it's in serious disarray. You created a space where both globally, in terms of the competitors in Europe or basket cases, business in the United States and in New York in particular is looking at fabulous possibilities for normalcy, for profit making, for getting on with business.